Miami. It's hot down here in Miami. Getting hot. We got DJ Khaled with us on Rock the Bus Radio. Salute the sample live from Miami. Miami, make some noise. Okay. So this joint, Greg, what's the name of this song? The name of this song is No, No, No.
Here's Dr. Laura on Trial.
No nonsense advice about relationships, marriage, kids.
Tough love.
It happened is not a phrase anybody uses when they take responsibility.
Inspiration.
Every time you want to go to bed with a negative thought, you have to match it up with a positive one. That's your new rule.
Plus, Dave Ramsey, Glenn Beck, and Nancy Grace. To hear Dr. Laura on Trial, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or head to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly. Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
They were each massive hits, but none of them made it to number one on the Billboard Hot 100.
Mamma mia, mamma mia.
We'll count down the biggest hits to stop just short of the top.
We're playing games with my heart.
The Billboard number 2 countdown channel, now for a limited time on SiriusXM Channel 14 and the SXM app.
What are you listening to in the morning? Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly and activate your radio. Imagine waking up to the biggest names in morning entertainment: Howard Stern, Today Show Radio, news from CNN, Fox News, Bloomberg, NPR, or sports talk on NFL, MLB, NASCAR Radio, and more. Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly or call 844-711-8800 now. Activate your radio and begin exploring more than 140 channels.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see.
You experience the NFL on the SiriusXM app. Every game, all season long with your hometown announcers.
They have come back from 27-0 to win the game.
Your local pre- and post-game shows. Plus, get expanded content like press conferences, locker room interviews, and coaches' shows from select teams. Just open the SiriusXM app and search for your team. Then click the favorite star to listen all season long.
How good is that?
When you're a SiriusXM subscriber, you've got access to commercial-free music, channels from almost every genre, and channels created in conjunction with the biggest names in music: Eminem's Shade 45, Pearl Jam Radio, Bruce Springsteen's E Street Radio, and more. Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly or call 844-711-8800 now. Activate your radio and start listening now.
Check out Kevin Hart's exclusive SiriusXM show.
The name of the show is Straight from the Heart, featuring me and the Plastic Cup Boys.
Hear the latest from Kevin Hart on his exclusive SiriusXM show.
We're talking about putting in work, talking about your ladies and the expectations that they may have.
Wait a second, man. Straight from the Heart. Straight from the Heart with Kevin Hart. To hear Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
Did you know SiriusXM has over 100 extra channels on the SXM app, filled with ad-free music made for everything you do? Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
Summer's gone and class has begun. We're schooling you with the teen anthems of the 2010s. Join Big Time Rush, Miranda Cosgrove, and the Jonas Brothers as they play the songs that hit after the school bell rang. The After School All-Stars Mix, hosted by Mac.
This is for Connect 3, Connected.
Now playing on the SXM app. And to keep riding that 2010s vibe, head to Channel 11 for the 10 spot.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vini vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. According to me and people who have 28 podcast applications, you can follow Big C Sports on a beautiful September the 14th, 2023 in Dimdale Hills, California. I feel like a new man today because I got a good night's sleep. I guess that's what happened when they give you hydrocodone. That's the worst. I felt like I could think, but I could barely move. It was hard to get out of bed this morning, but I got out of bed, if that makes sense to you. I want to say you can follow Big C Sports today, sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them to sit you where the good Lord splits you, as well as driving a fleet of Cadillac cars all across the universe. Really do want to say a thank you to CNN. You know, Curry, you talk too much politics. CNN advertising on Big C Sports Podcast. Give that some praise. I said give it praise. They got rid of Don Lemon and they brought in Big C, made out of his tracks. All friend, love a war. Really do appreciate that. I want to say you can follow Big C Sports Podcast on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, the Diesel Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Amazon. Oh, I tell you, I love Amazon Podcast. Also, Good Pods Podcast, Geo Savan Podcast out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hub Hopper Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Policy, Podcast in Public, and the only one that used to scare me, but now it doesn't, is AllFees.ai. Give that some praise. The robots are taking over. I do have a switch for those of you who are afraid of computers taking over. It's called the Teddy Switch. You want to hear it? I have a sample of it. It's called Turn Off the Lights, and light a candle. You see this something out they want to do to your baby. Turn them off. And it works. It works on robots. It also works on people. Because when Teddy Turn Off the Lights was out as the #1 show in the universe, rumor has it that was the month that 9 months later more babies were conceived than any time in the history of music. Give Teddy some praise. I mean, it's pretty forceful. Imagine somebody walking into your room that you allow into your room and the lights are on and he said, turn them off. That's kind of forceful. It kind of works. I've even tried it sometimes. It's like it wouldn't work with Michael Jackson saying, turn them off and light a candle. Because he didn't have that same baritone voice. But when Teddy Pendergrass come in and he says, turn off the lights, give me some praise, come on y'all, and light a candle. You see I'm in a romantic mood, yeah. He said, turn off the lights and come to me. You see there's something I want to do to your baby. Turn them off. Try it. If you don't have cable, Just try to do a Teddy Pendergrass. That's not works. I'm telling you, you can also follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming OTT on 4 TV platforms all over the universe. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. But you better have a smart TV, or you might be sitting there looking at a still picture. Got some NFL football coming to you in Dimdare Hills at Lincoln Financial Field. And I heard some good old boys saying Philadelphia got a win at last week on the road at New England, and then Minnesota they laid an egg at home against Tampa. So now can Minnesota and those Vikings, can they go into Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, where even Santa Claus get booed, and can they come out with a win? I'm telling you something. I'm going to get into the point spread. Philadelphia will most likely win, but I think Minnesota covers. And I get that into you in just a little bit, because that's how I love getting down. I also want to pay homage to our Veterans Crisis Hotline, because they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. If you know anybody going through issues, the Veterans Crisis Hotline, it is really there to do a good thing for all of our veterans. I was at a post office today, and I met a guy with a hat on it, had a flag on it. So I said, "Excuse me, did you serve the country?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, what branch of military?" And he said he was a Marine. So I said, "Let me give you some praise." And I gave the brother some praise. He said he was in 4 years and got out all straight level war. But oftentimes we have military people who need help. We have a Veterans Crisis Hotline. I love giving it out with Big C Sports. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues, you call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. And I asked him, had he heard of the Veterans Crisis Hotline? And he said yes. So the message is getting out there. It's all over television. A lot of sporting programs, they have that. But the man, I just told him, thank you for your service. And I often feel like that's a little bit disingenuous. I could have maybe bought him a Big C burger. A Big C burger? What's a Big C burger? It's the one with all the exotic. It comes with all the exotic meats. What kind of meat do you put on the Big C burger? I can't tell you. If KFC won't give out his recipe, why would Big C give out his recipe? But if you ever had the Big C burger, it's a tasty burger. It'll make you go, ooh yeah. Electric strike. Oh, that's fair and level work, but I really do appreciate him. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1 verse 3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. I tell you. And then he said, let there be light. When I got the news that the CNN is advertising on Big C Sports Podcast on the iHeartRadio platform, I want to give that some praise, and I'll tell you why. Because growing up, I used to always listen to Walter Cronkite, just the facts. And I remember watching CNN back in the day when I was in college, the great Bernie Shaw. I would watch Bernie Shaw doing his thing on CNN. And then I later grew to watch Don Lemon doing his thing on CNN with Chris Cuomo doing his thing on CNN. And those men are gone. They're not on CNN anymore. But life goes on. Just like the movie Seal, or the album that Seal put out, Life Carries On. Now, watching Bernie Shaw on CNN, I'm telling you, I used to love watching him when I was in college. And then Chris Cuomo, and just watching these guys, Don Lemon, on CNN. And I remember doing on my show when I started doing Big C Sports Podcast, sometime when you ask other people for their opinion, oftentimes it's best to ask people who are already in the business. Because those three iconic broadcasters that I would enjoy watching, they're no longer on CNN. But Big C Sports is being sponsored by CNN. Give that some praise. That's validation. And now I'm looking for that $6 billion. I know it's coming because not only has Disneyland, or Disney Corporation, that owns the mothership, sponsored Big C Sports on the iHeartRadio platform, and now CNN News sponsoring Big C Sports Podcast on the iHeartRadio platform. I even saw a sponsorship from Fox News. I just want to give Big C Sports some praise. I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man, and there are times when people say you either lead, you follow, or you get out of the way. And there are times when people want to discourage you. I remember one time I had some pretty dumb guys talking to me, and they said, man, I listened to your show, but you were talking so much politics, I didn't know if it was a sports show or it was a news program. And I said, we're not for dumb people. And I wasn't being facetious. I was being truthful. I don't want to be for dumb people. Now, if you're not dumb, I'm not talking to you. But if you are dumb, don't be offended. It just means read a little bit more. Like some of the guys that told me, man, you talk too much politics on a sports show. And now CNN is running ads on Big C Sports Podcast. You got to give that some praise because I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man, and I'm asking for $6 billion. It's going to happen because I'm talking to God about it. And I know there are times when even you can't please everybody. I know I can't please everybody. But what I can do, I just keep giving God praise. I keep giving God praise. And my show is growing. And I'm so grateful because I'm going to tell you why coming up. It's like the commercial I'm trying to get done with go, go, go. I even played the front part of it on the program. I'm believing it's going to come out by Christmas. It's about laughter, and T-Mobile or any other cell phone company that sees the brilliance in having laughter on a commercial. It can be radio or TV. Because what do people do around the holidays after they max out their credit cards? They laugh. I mean, maybe they don't laugh. But laughter is good for you. And that's a commercial that was just done in the process of being in the moment. And at the moment, may lightning strike. There were fireworks going off, but that's going to happen too. Really do appreciate that. But I'm so grateful that CNN News is running advertisers on Big C Sports Podcast, and you can give that some praise, especially for you dumb people that said I talk too much politics. And also, I have a quiz coming up. I like to do it for every show. Get your cell phone out. You got 3 seconds. I like giving a quiz. And unlike many people, when I give a quiz, it's for the whole world to hear. Oh man, nobody's listening to your show, Big C. Well, this is CNN. Give that some praise. That's James Earl Jones. I was just talking to Brother Allende just the other day. He sounds like James Earl Jones. Maybe a little bit of Harry Edwards also. And we were talking about his voice sounds like James Earl Jones. And I was talking to another friend of mine by the name of Brother Aleem Shabazz, who owns Crescent Sports Media. And we were talking about this is CNN. And now that's always been the voice of James Earl Jones. You got to give that some praise. Now CNN advertising on Big C Sports Podcast. I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man. And yes, I want to give that some praise. Because it's a pretty sad dog that won't wag his own tail. Curry, I thought you were going to give me a quiz. Okay, now that you asked for the quiz again, I want you to Google the Survivors Today Act of 2017. Google it! Survivors Today Act of 2017, because you know I'm pro reparations. The Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Today Act of 2017 is United States legislation that requires the State Department to report to Congress on steps that 47 countries in Europe have taken to compensate Holocaust survivors and their heirs for assets seized by Nazi Germany and post-war communist governments. And you got to give that some praise because we give that praise. The next thing you're going to hear is the United States legislation that requires all 50 states in the United States. Listen to me words. Listen to me words. My best is listen to me words. You're going to hear United States legislation that requires all 50 states and the State Department to report to Congress on steps that all 50 states are taking to compensate descendants of child slavery. Give that some praise. It's the same thing. You can't say black because it's antithetical to black. You got to call it descendants of child slavery. I just love the fact that Big C Sports being sponsored by this is CNN. Come on. I I just thank God for that. I don't worry about the knuckleheads. I just want to encourage people to do what I'm doing. I'm the only sports show in the universe that will always honor and pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force. I just got out some emails today to have interviews with the top senator in the United States of America. His name is Senator Stephen Bradford. And also one of the top assembly members in the United States of America. His name is Reginald Sawyer. I'm talking about Big C Sports. And I'm telling you, I wasn't waiting for someone to give me the orders. I'm doing work with the National Black Wall Street Project, led by the inimitable Reverend Tony Pierce, President and CEO. But my purpose has been championing reparations for a long time. From long, long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I saw that justice, liberty, and justice for all is real. And I studied President Abraham Lincoln. He's the 16th president of the United States. And it's never happened before in California, but it's going to happen. I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force, starting with the chair, Camila Moore. Brilliant. Her focus is reparative justice. Isn't that something? I want to pay homage to Dr. Amy C. Brown, Vice Chair. Brilliant. And then California Senator, the best senator in the United States of America, Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. He sponsored Name, Image, and Likeness. He's the author of that. I already talked to him about that. He said, thank you for paying attention to that. A lot of people don't want to give him credit, but Big C Sports did. Also want to give praise to Councilmember Monica Montgomery Steppe. Brilliant. Also have my email out in correspondence to Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. Want to give him some praise. Also Dr. Shell Groves. Brilliant. Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. Love giving her praise. And I'm not done yet. Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley. Brilliant. And Attorney Donald K. Tamaki, part of the Reparations Task Force. Brilliant. Give them all praise. You know what? The only sports show in the universe that has reached out to them is the only sports show that CNN advertises on. That's Big C Sports Podcast. You don't see them advertising on other sports shows. If they do, it's news to me. Why would CNN advertise on a sports show? Because I tell you, you can Google everything I say. If you can't Google what I say and verify what I'm saying, if you can't vet me, don't listen to me. I mean that. If you can't vet what I'm saying, don't listen to me, because I'm shucking and jiving. You notice how they don't advertise on shows where people are shucking and jiving? All they talk about is touchdown, home run, three-point play. Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. They don't get those guys to call them. They don't get CNN running ads on their programs. But Big C Sports does. It's all fair and love and war. I want to be so. This is so important to me, because in our business, it's pretty small world on the side of media, especially for beautiful, intelligent black men that have the stones the size of a mustard seed. Okay, my stones are bigger than a mustard seed stone, but because some guys, they got stones that are bigger than the size of a mustard seed, but they're quiet. They're shy. They don't want to come out and say things that are going to be what I call a clarion call for society. You can't get much bigger, in my opinion, than a mustard seed. I will go, no, that's the wrong script, Curry. The point is, I think about all the times that you say things that are important to you, like telling someone I love you. If you love somebody, tell them. If you love somebody, say, turn off the lights! Turn them off! And let me show you! Okay, I'm on the wrong script. Hold on. That was a script from Mitt Romney. He said he's going to turn off his political lights. I do wish him the best, but Mitt Romney, as a Republican, 47%, he said 47% of the people don't want to do anything, and now he's going to quit. I did think he was one of the most decent Republicans. Why is he quitting? Maybe because he said it because he's going to be 80 in his next term. But I do think he's a decent man. But there's a lot, there are a lot of people who are just like the antebellum days, and they have their own clan, no pun intended, that are running government. No matter what's going on with the indictment of President Joe Biden's son, whatever it is, it is. But there are times in our country where people are so dumbed down on just watching a game. And I didn't want to take that road. I didn't get on that train. I got on the train of Walter Cronkite, Bernard Shaw, Ed Bradley. Watching men and women like that. Barbara Walters, Oprah Winfrey. Everybody can say, "Oh, who are you, Big C?" I'm just saying, my time is coming too. I told you Big C Sports will become a household name. How does CNN find Big C Sports? Because I'm doing what God told me. Give God some praise. That's what I'm doing. I'm not begging anybody to affirm my action. They wouldn't put their name on a program that was full of lies and shenanigans. That's why I'm very, very humbled. I mean, sometimes you gotta just give that some praise. Because so many people, and I'm telling other beautiful, intelligent black men, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to talk about the truth. And honor President Abraham Lincoln the same way we honor an athlete. I know we want to honor athletes. We want to give athletes praise. They do a hard job working to make the leagues if they can, but some of our athletes, they don't say anything either. They just want to score touchdowns and hit home runs and make baskets. And we give them too much praise. Of all the athletes that I really respect, and it's not that they're looking for my respect, it's a shame. It's a shame, but I mean, life, who doesn't love Muhammad Ali? Because he said he'd float like a butterfly and he'd sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble with all you got to use. How can you lose? Ali was bombastic. Ali was prescient. He was fair. He was egalitarian. And he even refused to go to war because he said they'd never done anything to hurt him. And the whole world loves Ali. They only love Ali because he spoke the truth as well as he could. And that's what I want to do with Big C Sports. I'm telling you, I started out with Salem Media. I'll get into it, but today's a little bit different. I went to the dentist yesterday, and whatever they gave me, it numbed my gums, so I couldn't feel my lips. You know how scary it is when you can't feel your lips? What do they say when if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, does it make a sound? Well, I got my own story. You want to hear it? If your lips are numb and you can't feel it, do they still exist? The answer is yes. I bit my lips enough to realize they still exist even if you can't feel it. What did Michael Jackson say? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I can feel where I bit my lips a couple times yesterday. And so when the dentist says, please, Curry, do not eat any hamburgers unless a whole day has passed. Don't go down there and get a hot cup of coffee. I even poured half cream in it. And then you can't feel the coffee when it's pouring on your shirt, and people have the nerve not to even say anything. It's a shame. It's all good though. I feel so much better that the dentist did what he did. At the same time, when I saw that Big C Sports podcast has an ad from CNN. In fact, I'm not just talking, because it says The Source with Caitlin Collins, weekends at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Big C Sports will continue in about just about a second left. But The Source with Caitlin Collins, that I've watched many, many times, a great reporter, on CNN, weeknights 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You got to give that some praise. And I know where I started. You can't get much bigger than CNN. And so all the knuckleheads that said, oh man, quit talking so much politics. And a lot of those guys don't even have a job now. Because they were afraid to tell Massa, I'm at least going to speak the truth. The truth? The whole truth and nothing but the truth will help you guard. I've been doing that. Now what if some of our multi-millionaire, beautiful, intelligent black men would do the same thing? If you don't know the truth, just Google it. I think sports is the only thing, maybe I'm not going to say the only thing, but it's a major reason why people congregate together. The churches have lost people. Almost every church you go to, their numbers are down. At least from my own understanding. Then now a lot of churches, they become televangelists. They get on television and preach the gospel. Nothing wrong with that. You can't touch somebody when you're preaching the gospel on television. I'm not knocking it. You reach people where they are. And especially for the money that advertisers pay for televangelism, and they'll get on television. Big C Sports, it's on the same platforms. And all I have is one beautiful, intelligent brain. And I ask God to guide my words. Oh, there you go again. I'm telling you, these things that I bring up is because it happened. You take a lot of darts thrown at you when you're a black man talking about reality, like reparations, and stop hurting black people, and equality, and xenophobia, and racism, and sexism. You take a lot of darts when you talk about egalitarianism. In the media, when you talk about the mainstream that are antithetical to blackness. So a lot of black men and women need to know that black has no standing in the court of law. It's part of the NORA codes. We got to use descent as a child of slavery. Why do you only hear that on Big C Sports? And why, after hearing stuff like that, the CNN sponsored Big C Sports podcast? You got to give that some praise. I'm just saying. I know the new thing now is they will have erstwhile athlete after erstwhile athlete, and they all sit around the microphone, and they go, who's going to go first? And all they do is talk about football, basketball, baseball, touchdown, home run. Nothing that really benefits people. It's like the dumbing down of society. Oh, who you calling dumb? I'm not saying people are dumb. I'm saying it's the dumbing down of society. I want to read something that I heard a lot growing up. I know I'm going to get into some sports too. But think about this. The next time I get criticism, and I get some of it from knuckleheads. Oh man, quit talking too much politics. Some guys that don't even have a show. There's a parable in the Bible. It's called The Talents. It's in Matthew 25. Oh, I just had an epiphany. Matthew 25, verse 14 through 30. And it tells of a master who was leaving his house to travel. But before leaving his house, he entrusted his property to his servants, according to the abilities of each one. One of his servants got 5 talents. The other servant got 2 talents. And the last servant got 1 talent. And the one that got the 5 talents was kind of nervous, conservative, didn't want to upset the apple cart. So he didn't really do much with the talents that he was given. The other servant that got 2 talents, or some people say it was 3 talents, Curry. Did a little bit. It's kind of afraid out there in this world. People can be mean to you. Sometimes people steal from you. They'll lie to you. They'll tell you they love you and they'll stab you in the back, the same person. And sometimes you lose faith in people. So he kind of did a little bit, but didn't do as much as he could have. And then there's me. The person that God gave 1 talent to. I'm not saying because I'm not as talented as the people who got 5, but I'm saying I do as much with one person as some shows it takes 5 people to do. I started working in production. I know the game. I've worked in broadcast. I still do. But I'm saying, how does one beautiful, intelligent black man... I was calling Las Vegas today. Hilton Honors called me. And I'm setting up a room for the Super Bowl, for Super Bowl 58. And they said, Big C, all the hotels are sold out. I said, put me on standby. Because people cancel all the time. But I'll be there. They said, well, we can't guarantee you a room. I said, you can't guarantee anything. But I want you to put me down for a room I'll be there Friday, Saturday, and I'm going to fly out Sunday. And the good old boy from Hilton Honors, he said, well, Curry, I'm going to do something better than that. The good old boy told me that if I go to one of their seminars, they'll give me the room for free. You got to give that some praise. Oh, they don't give away free rooms. I'm just telling you what happened. The point is, with what God has given me to do, I want to just encourage other young people. Don't be afraid. Don't wait for someone to show up and save you. Save yourself. I produce the shows. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We can all use more laughter in our lives. I love laughter. And I'm telling you, the commercials, I'm the only sports show in the universe. I do all of my commercials pre-show. I don't run them. If I have a guest, then I'll do the pause, and I'll have to add in time for the pause. But I just add my commercials up front. I keep going and going and going and going. And then I do my show. Most hour shows don't have 4 pauses, and they have 2 or 3 commercials during those 4 pauses. I'm the only one that doesn't do it like that. I just keep going and going and going. I even do providing the stats. I do the storytelling. I do the play-by-play. Runners on first and third. That counts for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Left field, back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love seeing the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. And then the show's uploaded to 28 multiple podcast platforms out of New York City. I'm in Dimdare Hills, California. And then goes out to 4 TV platforms streaming. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And then I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back at Salem Media. Through some of the worst days of my life, I still was rising and shining. I want to give that praise. And I want to just encourage other young people, you can never get it right. I'm always thinking of things I can improve. But you know what? CNN advertising on Big C Sports Podcast, you can get that some praise. You either lead, follow, or get out of the ring. I don't worry about negativity. In fact, I cut negative people out of my life. I only want to have positive influence because there's only 24 hours in a day, and sometimes that's not enough, it seems. But everything I'm asking for the Alpha and the Omega, Almighty of the universe. And my dreams come true. In fact, they've already happened, and I just got to catch up to them, and that's my story. I'm sticking with it. I know I got so much I got to say, but I don't have a lot of time to say it. I just wanted to say thank you to CNN for buying some spot on the Big C Sports Podcast, and now maybe I can afford more gas. Because gas is expensive, man. The 1,100-page Task Force Reparations recommendation recommends recommendations for lawmakers. The task force put that together. I also want to say I want to thank the Associated Press. Oh, whoop, there it is. The Associated Press also wrote an article on Big C Sports. It was back on March 23rd, March 29th, 2023. It was Janie Harr. She called me from the Associated Press. I said, how'd you get my number? She said, oh, we have our ways. I said, what makes you call me? She said, I heard you speak. Now, I think about this as I think about CNN this morning getting an ad on Big C Sports Podcast. And I asked her, what made you call me? She said, I heard you speak. I was speaking at a Reparations task force. There's about 500 people. And I'm not on the task force, but I'm doing some work to work with them as much as I can. And I said, well, what made you call me? She said, you're not like the others. I don't even know what that means. No one knows what it means, but it's provocative. It gets the people going. The fact of the matter is, she asked me what were my thoughts on reparations. And I said, reparations now? Reparations forever! Because I believe in that. I just think it's ironic that the biggest press in the United States is the Associated Press contacting Big C Sports to ask my thoughts on reparations, not my thoughts on who's going to win the championship of NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball. There's a lot more well-known men and women in the sports world than I am because they're put there by the gatekeepers. But they don't do their show on their own. I've worked with some of the top people in business, from John Madden to Pat Summerall, Dick Enberg. I worked with them. Been on the staff of Al Michaels' staff. I've been on the staff with a lot of people. Tom Hammond. So many wonderful broadcasters that I've been on their staff. At the same time, it takes a lot of people to do what they do. They don't even do it like I do it. I do it on my own because I know how. Imagine if I had $6 billion. Give that some praise. Some of these broadcast companies are worth billions of dollars. Like the story in the Bible, and I'm talking to God about it. Look at the people that you're giving billions to, and it takes a whole crew. Imagine what Big C Sports can do with $6 billion. How many people can I employ around the world? Give that some praise. But you gotta tell the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth will help you, God. And you gotta have passion. I don't want people who are not passionate. You gotta have some passion. It's not for everybody. I'm gonna say something that kind of, I don't know if it's funny or not, but I bought some new underwear the other day, and my goodness, they're too tight. I mean, I feel like I'm in a vice grip. They're too tight. I almost have to go to the Big C pause. If you ever bought underwear that were too tight, and you feel like you're in a vice grip, give me some praise. I'm like, what in the world? It's like they shrunk when I washed them. Because when I buy underwear, I wash them. I don't just, you don't know who was trying on the underwear before you bought them. But they shrunk in the wash. And they're so tight. I understand why I scream so much. I'm telling you, this is real time. It's happening right now. If you've ever had underwear that were too tight after you washed them, you like to strike and then have to do an hour podcast. Man, you know I'm committed to the cause. Give that some praise. Whoa, I have to do an adjustment. Sometimes airplanes change course when they're in air, when they hit too much turbulence. Well, I was having too much turbulence as well. Give having too much turbulence some praise. Oh my God. My goodness. I want to take these back. And I watched them repack them and give them to somebody else. Like they probably did for me. Be that as it may, I'm just telling you real things that I'm going through. Oh, don't act like you never had underwear that are too tight. Everybody does. Sometimes walking through the store in them there malls, you see people just picking and picking and picking because they went to that same mall and bought the same underwear. Max something. Oh, it shrunk. It shrunk in the wash. I had to do an adjustment, and I did my adjustment live. I didn't go on pause. Don't act like you never tried to adjust live. Everybody has to. I can finally breathe again. Who sang that song, Breathe Again? Tony Braxton? That she can breathe again? Oh, I can breathe again, if that makes sense to you. I want to get into some football before. Oh, my God. I got so much going on today. Before I get into football, I want to celebrate my family legacy because today's a little bit different. I told you I slept in because the hydrocodone they gave me, I could barely get up this morning. I didn't get up till noon. I normally get up at 6 o'clock every morning. But they said, Curry, whatever you do, make sure you don't drive when you take this hydrocodone. They should call it hydro-sleep dome is what they should call it. Make you sleep. Anyway, I love paying homage to my beautiful family legacy and my beautiful mother's side. My beautiful great-grandmother called her Mama, beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. And then my beautiful great-grandfather called him Pop, former military man and former Negro League baseball player, known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. Never seen boys get out of that barn. Now, he spoke fast like me, but he got his point across. And then my beautiful grandmother called her Mud Deer, beautiful, loving, kind woman, a seer, could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. She still helps me to this day. And then my beautiful grandfather, Hezekiah, another one of a person, really do appreciate him, a seer, could oftentimes look at a person and tell you what's going on in their lives. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coaching all boys, a Little League baseball team, to the championship of the universe. Give mama some praise. Come on, started a Head Start program, a food program, and then coaching all boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Really do appreciate my mama, the best person I ever met in my life. Love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. On my father's side, my grandfather, Albert Curry, former pastor, had 2 churches in Oakland, built the 3rd church in Central California, and with his own hands. And then he also owned 2 gas stations in Oakland, one on Bancroft and the other on Foothill. And he, too, sometimes had to adjust his underwear while he was doing his work as well. It's not the easiest thing to do. Try it sometime. Try it when you buy some underwear and they shrink in the wash. And you put them on, and it's like they still keep shrinking. But you gotta get comfortable, so you gotta do the adjustment and hoping that nobody notices. It's not an easy thing to do. My granddaddy, he used to do it all the time, but they wore different kind of breeches, if that makes sense to you. But my granddaddy also owned 40 acres of land, like the Emancipation Proclamation, where Frederick Douglass was working with President Abraham Lincoln to craft the Emancipation Proclamation, and every free black person was supposed to get 40 acres of the mule for helping the Union win the Civil War. Well, we all know the story. President Andrew Johnson came along after Lincoln was assassinated, and he vetoed the bill, and he gave that land back to the people who tried to overthrow the country, the Southern Confederates. And then they had a lot of offspring, because that's what you do when you don't have cable, and now they get all the bequeathed land and wealth and all that stuff. It should have been descendants of child slavery. And then my beautiful grandmother working side by side with my granddaddy with the 2 churches in Oakland, building the 3rd church in Central California, and then working with the 2 gas stations in Oakland, one on Bancroft and on the Foothill. They were Shell gas stations. But I remember walking through a hallway. I was 8 years old. About 10 o'clock at night, I felt someone touch me on my forehead. She said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some cookies?" And I said, "What in the world is she doing up at 10 o'clock? She normally goes to bed at 8:30. And I said, "Cookies and baby crap, Grandma. To what I'm looking for? I'm looking for my reparations." But she touched me on my forehead. She said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." And now Big C Sports Podcast is being sponsored by CNN News. You got to give that some praise. By CNN News. This is CNN. James Earl Jones' voice. Isn't that something? Really do appreciate that. And then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter, pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that planes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. Always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice. Sound like thunder and lightning. When Todd would speak, always saying go forward, a voracious leader. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then my beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. And Daisy, CNN is running commercials at Big C Sports. Daisy set up the very first interview for Big C Sports back at Salem Media. It became the first time in the history of the United States of America that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. They would normally go to ESPN. Daisy set up the first interview. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors, 3.5 years. Would also work with me when college coaches would come to the West Coast to do work with Big C Sports. And Daisy also a great soccer player. I remember one time she scored 6 goals, left foot in one game. It was Daisy for the kick, Daisy for the goal. And she's a right-footed kicker. So she's ambidextrous. Love her with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. Always trust God, Isaiah 54:17. Don't let any junk come between you and your family. If anyone's creating junk, it's not a God, and you know that. And you know it. I love you with all I have. And then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, a senior, very smart, erudite, a good man. I tell you, Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Malcolm actually helped me save trees. I used to always get the newspapers and look up stats on players and teams for Big C Sports Podcast. One day, Malcolm said, "Dad, why don't you just Google it?" And now, Malcolm, CNN is running ads on Big C Sports Podcast. You got to give that some praise. You can Google it. One day, Malcolm said, "Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV?" Oh, I just had another epiphany. I said, "Sure." He said, "Pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say play Big C Sports, and you'll see your show come up." That's before it was even on the air. Now it's streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And now CNN is running ads on Big C Sports. Give that some praise. Malcolm, you're the first one to tell me to Google it. And now CNN, I guess they listen to you. And next, Daddy's going to become a billionaire. You mark my words. It's already out there. I've asked God about it. And I've seen so many signs that lead to it. My purpose in starting Big C Sports was to do what Bob Johnson did with BET. He didn't even have $15,000 to his name as a grown man. $15,000, didn't have it. And he ended up selling BET for $3 billion. He shouldn't have sold it, but give it praise. And he didn't have the platform that I have starting out. If God can bless Bob Johnson with BET, bless Big C Sports. They both start with B. I'm so just happy because I put my heart, mind, body, and soul into what I do. Some days I don't feel the best. Yesterday, I couldn't feel my lips. I couldn't feel my lips. But that didn't stop me from eating some ice cream, and drinking some coffee, and eating a hamburger. I was determined. But you know, I'm just grateful to God. There's so many things that I'm asking for that when God says yes, I'm worth $6 billion. I know it's happening because I just know it is. That's why I give God praise. I'm not talking to people. I'm talking to the Heavenly Father, the Alpha, the Omega, the Ancient of Days. And God, you know I deserve it. Been through a lot of crap over the last couple of years with people trying to, all the shenanigans, trying to bring a brother down. It doesn't make any sense. But some people are so full of, they like this track. But I fight through anyway. And I just keep giving God praise. And I'm always going to do that. And I just love you, Malcolm, with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Never let anyone separate you from you and your family. That's not of God. If anyone tries, ask them where they find that in the Bible. You can be anything you want to be. I know my show's somewhat different at times. And then I want to thank Big C with all that wealth of knowledge over the years. Always saying you got to believe. You got to believe. You got to believe. Saying, let's get ready to rumble. I love saying, welcome to the show, F-nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no 3-minute teleprompters. I have no producer in my ear. I do my show with my higher self. And I got something. Listen to this noise. Like, what in the world is that? Those are called hot tamales. Hot tamales? I love hot tamales. They do something for my voice. And they have cinnamon. They're fierce cinnamon. They're flavored chewy candies. America's #1 cinnamon flavored candy. Give that some praise. Hopefully they'll sponsor Big C Sports also, because I know I eat enough of them. Maybe that's why I have to go to the dentist. Life is funny, hot tamale. Flaming hot. At the same time, got a football game tonight. The Eagles, they fly high because they take themselves lightly. They're taking on the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm telling games already underway. It's week 2 of NFL football. Jalen touchdown Hurts and the Eagles will become the Minnesota Vikings. Next minutes, they're going to beat them at Lincoln Field in a battle between playoff teams from a year ago. Philadelphia was runner-up in the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Philadelphia began the 2023 season on a positive note, defeating the New England Patriots in Dimdare Hills, Massachusetts. It was on the road last Sunday, and Minnesota was not as fortunate. They were falling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home in week 1. Kickoff already happened at 8:15 p.m. East Coast time in Philadelphia, freedom. Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, where they even hate Santa Claus. But when you look at the sports, the odds makers out there, be careful. Philadelphia is a 6-point favorite. That's a lot for an NFL team. And while the over-under or total number of points in Las Vegas, they think it's going to be about 49 points. In the latest Vikings versus Eagles odds, before making any Eagles versus odds picks, I'm telling you, be careful what Big C is going to tell you right now. Because there's some fantasy gambling people that deal in the sports world, and they feel their numbers are pretty good against the spread. And whatever they think, I don't really want to run back what they talk about with their numbers. But I'm telling you, right now, after week 1, I only lost 4 games, but I won 12 games. And I don't bet on sports. 800 Gambler if you do. But I'm better than the people that came out of Vegas based on the numbers. But I got to tell you, when I looked at the point spread, 6 points, you're getting the Vikings 6 points? The Eagles are favored by 6? The over-under is 49? The Minnesota Vikings are 7-11-1 against the spread since the start of 2022. 7-11-1. Now the Philadelphia Eagles, they are 11-10 against the spread since the start of 2022. They have a 50% chance of covering the spread. Why can't the Vikings cover? Because it's hard to go 0-2 when you're a good football team. And they already lost that game at home to Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. I'm not saying they win tonight, but I think they cover. Minnesota showed signs of progress on the defensive side of the field in week 1. The Vikings held the Buccaneers to only 242 total yards and 20 points in the opener. Tampa Bay they were averaging 3.6 yards per play. Minnesota was stout against the run. They yielded only 2.2 yards per carry. Tampa Bay converted only 35.2% of the third down. While the Vikings were not dominant overall, the team did create 25 takeaways last year. That's a top 8 mark in the NFL. And they held opponents to 38% on third down conversions. Now, if you look at their top receiver, Justin Jefferson, he's an all-pro player who led the NFL in receptions, receiving and yards per touch in 2022. Jefferson opened in 2023 with 9 catches, 150 yards last week. He's the ultimate weapon for Kirk Cousins. And then, when I think about the Eagles, they're a good team too. They won on the road at New England. Think about what happened, though. They didn't play well in the second half. They got out to a big lead. And then they slowed down. They're going to have to pick it up. Eagles quarterback Jalen Touchdown Hurts. He's a true dual threat with more than 750 rushing yards and 13 regular season rushing touchdowns last year. He threw for 3,700 yards and 22 touchdowns last year, only 6 interceptions. Philadelphia is also blessed with 2 standout wide receivers that each caught 7 passes in the 2023 season opener. That's A.J. Brown. He finished with the top 4 of the NFL in receiving yards and yards per catch and receiving touchdowns last season. And then Devontae Smith led the team with 95 catches and set an Eagles record for most yards at 2,112 yards and 159 receptions in his first 2 seasons combined. He's the real deal. I do have the Eagles winning tonight and going to 2-0, but I don't buy that 6 points. This may come down to a field goal game because the Vikings are good on defense too. They only give it 20 points last week to a good Tampa team with a run-pass option quarterback and Baker Mayfield. Now, I'm not putting any money on the game, but I do have the Eagles winning a game at home. They're on grass. The Vikings play on natural turf. And it just feels like it's the home opener. The crowd is already blitzed and crazy in Philadelphia. They have a great defense. They have a great offense. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Give them some praise. Well, I just want to say thank you to CNN for buying spots on Big C Sports Podcast. I guess I don't talk too much politics after all. I want to say, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can call a cab, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off. But don't drink and get behind the wheel of a car. The life you save may be your own or somebody that you love. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, you know what time it is. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, he said, you float like a butterfly and you sting like a bee Rumble, young man, rumble. With all you got to use, how can you lose? All of them say I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. And all these Big C burgers make me light on my feet. That's why I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. My beautiful mother always says, there's never, ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911 because things change when the police show up. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super, fantastic day. And this is the part where I want all America, in fact, all of the world, to celebrate President Abraham Lincoln when he said, reparations now, reparations forever. Said 2 more times as if your team just won the game. When President Abraham Lincoln said reparations now, reparations forever, he meant that for the descendants of chattel slavery. If President Abraham Lincoln can say it, then you can too. Say it with me one more time. Come on, Congress. Reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.